You walk into a bank branch with $47 in your checking account. The teller barely looks up. She's seen this 1,000 times today. You're not rude to her. She's not rude to you. But there's a kind of invisible wall between you and everyone behind that counter. You're not a threat. You're not an opportunity. You're just a transaction. Number 214 in the queue. Now imagine walking into a different building, different city, different bank, same species of human being. But this time, you're worth $50 million. Nobody makes you wait. There's no queue. There's a private room with a door that closes, a person whose entire job is to know your name before you say it, and a phone number that connects directly to a human being who picks up on the second ring. Same species, same bank sometimes. Two completely different universes. Here's the uncomfortable truth this video is going to walk you through. Banks don't treat wealth like a number. They treat it like a personality trait. And the way they treat you changes so gradually, so quietly, that most people never realize just how differently the financial system behaves, depending on which side of an invisible line you're standing on. Let's go level by level, because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Level 1. To $1,000, the invisible customer. At this level, you are, statistically, the least profitable person a bank can have as a customer. You don't have enough money for them to invest. You're at risk of overdraft fees, which the bank loves, and account closures, which the bank does not. You call customer service, and you get a script. A real, actual script. The same one everyone gets, word for word, regardless of what your specific problem is. If you overdraft by $4, you get hit with a $35 fee, and there is no human on the other end of that phone with the authority to waive it without a 15-minute negotiation. You are, in the bank's internal language, mass market. That phrase alone should tell you everything. Mass market means, we will serve you, because regulation and reputation require it. But we built almost nothing here specifically for you. Level 2, $1,000 to $25,000. Still invisible, just less broke. This is where most working adults in the country actually live financially. And here's the strange part. The bank's behavior barely changes. You might get a slightly better card offer in the mail. Maybe a, "We noticed you qualify for a rewards checking account" email. But you're still calling the same 1-800 number, still getting the same hold music, still talking to whoever happens to be free, not someone assigned to you. There's no error in this. The math is simple. At $10,000 in an account, even at generous interest assumptions, you are worth a few $100s a year to that bank. That doesn't justify a dedicated human being. So you get automation, apps, and hold music. Because that's exactly what your relationship is worth to them, financially speaking. This is usually the part where people get a little uncomfortable. Because most of us have lived at this level for years without realizing that's exactly what it was. A business relationship priced accordingly. Level 3, $100,000. The first invitation. Somewhere around 6 figures in liquid assets, something shifts. Not dramatically, but you'll notice it. You get a letter, not an email, an actual letter, on nicer paper than you're used to getting from a bank, inviting you to a complimentary financial review with someone whose title includes the word advisor. This isn't charity. This is the bank doing math. At 6 figures, you've crossed a threshold where investing your money, not just holding it, starts to be worth their time. The tone in these meetings changes too. You're no longer a customer with a problem. You're a client with a portfolio. Small phrase. Completely different posture from the person across the desk. You still don't have a private banker, but you've entered the zone where the bank has started, quietly, to calculate whether you're worth building a relationship with. Level 4. $250,000 to $1 million. You get a name. This is the level where things start to feel noticeably different. You get assigned an actual person, not a department, a person, with a direct phone line. When you call, you don't explain your account number to a stranger. You say your name, and they already know who you are, what you hold, and often, what you were doing the last time you spoke. You start getting invited to things. A seminar on estate planning. None of this is generosity. It's retention. The bank has done the math, and realize that losing you as a client. This is also the level where private banking starts whispering in your ear about wealth management products, not because they think you need them necessarily, but because managed assets generate fees, and you've crossed into worth managing territory. Level 5. $1 million to $10 million. The real shift. At 7 figures, the entire relationship inverts. You stop calling the bank calls you. Your relationship manager knows your kids' names. They remember you mentioned wanting to buy a second property 18 months ago, and they follow up on it without being asked. If your card gets declined while traveling, which, statistically, still happens to people at every wealth level, machines don't discriminate. The fix isn't a 20-minute hold. It's a text message and a resolved problem in 4 minutes. Here's the part that surprises people the most. At this level, banks will occasionally waive fees you didn't even ask them to waive. Just to remind you, they're paying attention. It's not friendliness. It's a retention tool with impeccable manners. You've also, at this point, entered a psychological category the bank has quietly built around you. Not a customer we serve, but a relationship we protect. Small distinction. It changes literally everything about how every future interaction goes. Level 6. $10 million to $50 million. You are the product now. At this level, you're not really a bank customer in the traditional sense anymore. You are, in a very real sense, a business unit that happens to be a person. You have a dedicated team, not a person, a team. Someone handles your day-to-day banking, someone else handles investment strategy, someone else handles tax-efficient structuring, and someone coordinates all three so you never have to. If you want to buy a building, refinance a property, or move assets across countries, there's a person whose entire job is making that phone call disappear from your to-do list before you finish asking about it. You get invited to events that don't exist for anyone below this threshold. Dinners with bank executives, briefings on market conditions before they're public information for retail customers, access to investment opportunities that never appear on any public platform because they were never meant to. And here's the quietly wild part. The fees you pay, as a percentage of your wealth, often go down at this level, even though the service goes up dramatically. Because you're no longer valuable because of the fees you generate directly, you're valuable because of your presence. Banks compete for ultra-wealthy clients the way universities compete for star students. Prestige, referrals, and the appearance of exclusivity all matter more than the immediate transaction. The pattern underneath all 6 levels. Here's what ties every single level together, and it's the part most people miss because they only ever experience 1 or 2 levels of it in their entire life. The financial system was never built to treat people equally. It was built to treat capital efficiently. At every level, the bank is running the exact same calculation. How much does this relationship cost us, and how much could it eventually be worth? At $47, the answer is almost nothing, but don't lose the deposit. At $50 million, the answer is everything. Protect this at all costs. This isn't a conspiracy. It's not even hidden, really. It's just rarely said out loud, because it sounds cold when you say it plainly. The amount of respect a financial institution extends you is, almost mathematically, tied to the amount of money you represent to them. What this actually means for you. If you're watching this from somewhere in the first 3 levels, and statistically, most people watching this are, here's the actual, useful takeaway hiding inside all of this. The system won't start treating you differently because you deserve it more. It starts treating you differently when the math changes. That's uncomfortable to hear, but it's also, in a strange way, freeing, because it means the path isn't about being noticed. It's not about being loud, or convincing anyone of your worth through explanation. It's about quietly crossing thresholds, the same way we've talked about in other videos on this channel, consistently, without needing anyone's permission or approval along the way. The teller who barely looked up at you today has no idea what account balance you'll have in 10 years. Neither, honestly, do you. Not exactly, but the version of you at level 5 doesn't get built by convincing anyone of anything. It gets built exactly the same way it always has. Quietly. 1 deposit, 1 decision, one boring, ordinary day at a time. Until, eventually, the phone starts ringing instead of you having to make the call. If this gave you a new way of looking at how money actually moves through the world, subscribe to The Money Man for more real stories about wealth, psychology, and the systems that quietly shape how we all experience money, no matter what level you're standing at right now. Because every level on this list started at the same place you're probably starting from today.